I have an imagination that there's a tension you're feeling right now, a resistance, a pressure, a quiet sense that your current life, your current results, your current identity no longer fit who you know you're capable of becoming. And here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Growth does not begin with clarity. It begins with discomfort. Expansion doesn't feel like confidence. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like pressure. It feels like being stretched beyond what's familiar, what's comfortable. But what if that pressure you're feeling isn't a problem? What if it's evidence? Evidence that you're growing beyond your current container. All throughout nature, there are examples of this. Nature teaches us something very powerful. Mussels grow by tearing. Seeds grow by breaking open. A lobster grows by shedding the shell that once protected it. And the universe itself expands by creating more space. Everything in life expands through pressure, release, and reorganization. So why should your life be any different? Look, I have an imagination that you're here because you want a bigger life, bigger goals, more success, more impact, more money, more confidence, more freedom. Yet very few people are willing to do what expansion actually requires, because expansion is not comfortable. Expansion demands that you release what is familiar. It requires you to outgrow people, habits, identities, and beliefs that once felt safe. It forces you to sit in uncertainty far longer than you'd prefer. And here's the paradox. The life you want cannot fit inside the identity you're currently protecting. Let me say that again. The life you want cannot fit inside the identity you're currently protecting. Think about this. You can't pour more water into a full glass. You can't take a deeper breath without first exhaling. You can't grow if you're unwilling to let go. Expansion always requires space, and space only comes through release, unlearning, letting go. In today's conversation, we're talking about what it really means to expand. Not just chasing bigger goals, but becoming the person capable of holding all that encompasses next level success and next level you. Because expansion isn't only about getting more. It's about becoming more. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, a high-performance hypnotherapist and mindset coach. Spoiler alert, this isn't just a golf mindset podcast. It's a personal development and peak performance podcast designed to help you unlearn the collection of limiting beliefs, fears, and sabotaging behaviors keeping you stuck in that perpetual pattern of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And today's conversation really hits home for me. Every year, the last 4 years, I have let go of New Year's resolutions. And instead, I focused on a theme or a word of the year. And this year, my theme is expand into excellence. It is a hybrid, a complementary partnership between this pursuit of excellence in a select few areas of my life, collaborating with expansion. And I've got some personal revelations, if you will, anecdotes and learning lessons already from, 7 weeks into the year around this that I look forward to sharing. And I really wanted to take an approach of unpacking what does it mean to expand? Where do we see patterns of expansion in the universe to help you realize that there's order, there's pattern, there's predictability to the expansion process. And it's through understanding, embracing, and perhaps most importantly, accepting this pattern, this process that will allow you to endure this expansion and expand into next level success, next level you. Before we get there though, I'm going to take a major left-hand turn. I promise I'll come back right on topic of expanding. I've been working on something fun. I am in the process of putting together the notes, the frameworks for the next book I'm writing. And in that, this pursuit has really required me to begin breaking down my framework hypnotically, my framework from a peak performance standpoint that I've used to coach and help my clients achieve results the past couple of years. And in gaining a lot of clarity, simplicity, able to articulate concisely the framework for success, something else I've done that I've probably had the most fun with is I have, with the helping hand of ChatGPT, analyzed the patterns across the last 100 mindset coaching discovery calls I've had. Every call, and if you've had one with me, I'm an avid note taker. I still take notes by hand, and then I'll either, paste them into a Google Drive folder to study later. In this case, I rewrote them. I took all of the highlights and I used ChatGPT to help me identify some of the patterns of my coaching client or my coaching discovery calls. There it is. And what's really unique is it's helped me better understand the common objections, the common pain points, frustrations, why somebody is reaching out, where they want to go. And as you can imagine, and I'll put myself I will exclude myself from this bucket. But golfers, y'all are incredibly unique, and I love you. I love the game of golf. I love so many people I've met in the golf world. You'll spend so much money on country club memberships, new clubs, new club fittings, new drivers, new putters. But when it comes to investing in yourself, freaking stingy as can be. And it baffles me. Yet I also recognize I'm a bit atypical. I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into coaching and all facets under the personal development umbrella because I truly know, I believe, I've experienced firsthand asking for help accelerates results. And when you pay attention. So as I'm sitting here detailing and digging into the notes, the patterns and whatnot, I'm starting to identify these commonalities. So many of you are stuck in this pattern of hoping, wishing, praying that you're a swing thought, a putter, a driver, or a new club fitting away from becoming a single-digit handicap. You're stuck in that 10 to 15 range, or you're fluctuating between 8 and 10 and hoping you can finally break sub 5 and stay there on your way to ultimately achieving scratch. But you continue to find yourself stuck in the same sabotaging patterns. And the crux of your problem is an identity problem. It is purely your golf identity, who you perceive yourself to be in your respective foursome, in your respective men's or women's league, in your respective country club, who you perceive yourself to be on the course when you have a lead, when you're behind, when you're playing well, when you're playing poorly, and perhaps most importantly, what you believe you are worthy, deserving, and capable of achieving, or in this case, scoring on the golf course. And what I have done is created a coaching container designed to meet you, the serious, avid, committed golfer, where you're at, with a depth of understanding of not only your pain points, frustrations, where you want to go, where you've been, and where you are, but meets you where you're at from your sense of urgency, wanting to score lower and achieve personal bests yesterday, wanting to make playing to your potential a habit, and understanding that there's a way to invest in yourself without breaking a bank that, dare I say, also has one of the most beautiful positive ripple effects into every area of your life. And what has been created from this depth of research and analysis is something I'm really excited to share with you. It's the 90-day Golf Identity Upgrade Accelerator. It's a private 3-month coaching container designed to help serious golfers like you rapidly upgrade their beliefs, rewire their golf identity, and accelerate lower scores through deep subconscious transformation. Not just surface level tactics like be kind, breathe, be positive. Look, those are all tools that you should have in your tool belt. You should sharpen and fine tune them often. But the crux of why you do not play to your potential habitually is an identity problem. And this 3-month accelerated coaching container will force you to do the work beneath the work. This is the change that most golfers avoid, and this is where real performance breakthroughs happen. And this is what I'm excited to share with you. So what I have for you is a 90-day coaching container. And this is a container design where you and I will work intimately and closely to systematically dismantle your current golf identity and install a new one that is aligned with elite performance. We'll rewire your core golf and performance beliefs, subconscious emotional reactions, identity level limitations, pressure reactions, your overall self-image as a golfer so that we can create rapid, lasting change in your confidence, decision-making, emotional control, focus, trust, competitive composure, and score consistency. And the end result is you stop trying to play better golf. You become the golfer who naturally plays better and makes playing to your potential a habit. So here's the dealio. You're a strong fit if you're currently between a 10 and 15 handicap aiming for single digits this year. Or you're stuck between a 7 and a 9.5 pushing towards sub 5. You play at least 1 round per week. You practice regularly and invest in lessons or improvement. You know the real limitation holding you back isn't just a swing problem or technique flaw. You're open to deep mindset and identity work, and you want rapid, measurable performance changes. And in the 90-day Golf Identity Upgrade Accelerator, 6 private coaching sessions, deep hypnotic identity transformation work, core belief unlearning and upgrading, paired with, and this is the most important part, the peak performance integration frameworks you need to make the newfound awareness and upgrades actually stick and last. You get limitless communication access every step of the way and weekly mindset work to further intensify and deepen the integration of all the upgrades you make. 10 spots, 90-day Golf Identity Upgrade Accelerator. If you're interested, send me a DM on Instagram at the Paul Salter. DM me Golf Identity, and I hope to see you there. Because here's the thing I can tell you most. Your mind protects the identity it believes is true. And until that changes, nothing else sticks. So my theme of this year, we're back on track. We're back with the pod. Expand into excellence. Expand into excellence. And as I spent some time at the turn of the year reflecting on expansion, that was really where the priority resided initially. It was expansion. And to me, as I was wrapping my brain, my soul, my heart, and my head around expansion, for me, I think the undertone of attitude and belief was finally pursuing what I want, what I dream to do, what I know I'm capable of. And initially, this looked like taking actions I had been hesitating on, making decisions I had been stalling on, despite feeling fearful at times, finding the courage to outshine that fear. And expansion for me, the first 7 weeks of the year, from an intentional standpoint, was pushing more, was doing more, was putting more on my plate. And candidly, simultaneously, the universe was like, okay, I hear you. You want to expand. Well, here's 15 other challenges that you're going to navigate too, and you're going to find a way to hold space for them. And I'm like, cool, okay, like this, yes. Okay, more, expand. And I'm having a conversation with one of my mindset and performance coaches a couple of weeks ago. And I've got this clarity. Like I'm so aligned in what I want, what I know I need to be doing. And my action is complementing it beautifully. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't share. I have just been exhausted this year, fluctuating between feeling at 75% capacity and 50% capacity. Some of which, candidly, my son, he's at that age where he's getting sick with virus this, virus that all the time. And I just pick up the lingering residue. So I just continue to feel a bit under the weather. And I have not been at 100% all this year. And I kept telling myself, like, yeah, this is part of the expansion process. And it comes and goes. It's uncomfortable. And you pair that with, as you can imagine, I'm quite diligent with my self-care. Between the rest, the sauna, the cold plunge, the meditation, the workouts, the time in silence and solitude, I do a good, dare I say, great job overall in these areas. And yet that exhaustion, it just lingered in the background. So back to that conversation. I'm sitting there literally with my Google Calendar pulled up. And I live and die by my Google Calendar. And we're just talking about my goals, what needs to happen. And I just point blank tell him, dude, I don't know where or how I'm going to fit this in. There's just no bandwidth on my calendar. And I'm just pausing, and he doesn't say anything. And that's a superpower of a great coach, is you let your client you hold space for them. You let them feel heard, seen. And it started to click on me, like something needs to change. And I knew that something needed to change. I needed to let go of some commitments. I needed to reprioritize. I needed to evaluate what is worth my time. And I came back to one of my own audits, which is, can I automate this? Can I delegate this? Or can I just fucking eliminate it? And it turns out, after some vulnerability and honesty, there are quite a few things on my plate that could be eliminated. In fact, edit needed to be eliminated because I didn't have the capacity to not only fully go after my goals in pursuit of this expansion into excellence process, I didn't have the capacity to literally hold space for the opportunities that were starting to fall into my ether and the opportunities I was continuing to pursue and create. And the universe works in beautiful ways. A lot of opportunities that I've been pursuing for the last 3, 6, 12 months have started to come to fruition. And quite simultaneously in many interesting ways. But again, I felt so constricted. There's tension, just this wondering. Something has to give. What has to give? I don't know. Is this really what has to give? Can I find a way to keep this and do that? And the lesson I'm getting at here was expansion isn't just about doing more. It's about letting go, releasing, unlearning. And you and I know, I can use this expansion and growth metaphor like clockwork. And it's worth repeating, but I'm going to share my favorite one in a moment to really highlight this releasing, this unlearning process. But the best, simple, hopefully relatable example to you, because you have a gym habit, is expansion literally requires micro destruction. And think about going to the gym. Muscular growth literally requires breakdown, repair, before increased capacity. When you train in the gym, your muscle fibers literally tear. Inflammation occurs, and that rebuilding and repair process makes your muscles stronger and bigger. Your capacity to use more weight or complete more repetition expands. Expansion does not occur without stress. So expansion, one way to think about it, it works like building muscle. Your current identity must be stressed beyond its comfort zone. Something must break before something stronger can form. But here's the part I want to challenge you on, because I challenged myself on it. Do you wait for an inevitable break? that pipe bursting moment because you have let so many things pile up, remaining stuck in a state of indecision. Go listen to last Monday's episode. I think it was 137 about indecision. Or are you the catalyst for that break, creating a break in a more controlled environment on your terms by making decisions and taking actions? Now, the second part, again, of expansion is the releasing, the letting go of. And I think the framework that's most helpful to begin to digest how important it is to let go if you want to expand is when you think about breathing. You must fully exhale before a deeper inhale is possible. When you hold on to old air, this prevents you from taking in new air. And the framework here that applies to expansion is most people want expansion without exhaling first. But holding on to what is familiar suffocates growth. Hear that again. Holding on to what is familiar suffocates growth. When you let go, you create space to receive more. So the reframe here, release, letting go, it's not loss. It's preparation. How beautiful is that? It's preparation. Now, I want to plant a couple seeds, a couple questions I want you to ponder through the remainder of this podcast, but also afterwards, like your homework here. I challenge you every week. Don't just listen to this, especially passively. You should be actively listening, taking notes, hitting pause, using your notes app, your journal, a note card, a sticky note, and then reviewing those notes, taking action. A couple questions I want you to ponder as we continue with this topic of expansion. Number one, where in your life has comfort become confinement? Where in your life has what once protected you now become what limits you? Number two, what are you afraid to release? What are you currently holding on to that you know you need to let go of, but you're resisting because it feels safe? Is it a commitment, an obligation? Number three, where are you avoiding necessary discomfort? Where are you choosing short-term comfort over long-term expansion? Number four, what does your next level self require you to release? Think about it like that, like your best self, your next level you. What person, what relationship, what belief, what pattern, what habit does that version of you not have? If the version of you who already achieved your biggest goals could speak to you, what would they tell you to let go of immediately? And here's the kicker. You know the answer. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't bullshit me. You know. Quiet your mind. Find your breath. Be still. Be silent. 2 minutes. That answer's crystal clear. One of my favorite metaphors that really I feel does an excellent job encapsulating this expansion process and pattern is the molting process that lobsters undergo. Side note, not relevant, but worth saying. I like lobster. I think lobster is delicious. But nothing beats Maryland blue crab. You'll never convince me otherwise. There's just something so succulent and sweet and perfect about Maryland blue crab. I'd rather have a crab cake all day, every day, a big old crab feast than a lobster roll. Okay, neither here nor there. Might have lost a few of you after that comment, but it's okay. The expansion process of a lobster is a beautiful, powerful metaphor. So listen to this. A lobster has a very hard outer shell that protects it. We know this. What's interesting, though, is that shell does not grow. As the lobster grows internally, the shell becomes tight, restrictive, and uncomfortable. Eventually, the pressure becomes so intense that staying the same, it literally becomes impossible. Expansion begins when comfort becomes confinement. So as this molting process unfolds, the lobster has to do something about this confinement that has been created. So when the pressure becomes too great, the lobster retreats to a safe space. And we could go down many roads here, but having your core group of people, your community, your tribe, a safe, trusting relationship with your significant other, a coach or a therapist is incredibly valuable. But that lobster goes to a safe space, cracks its existing shell, and completely sheds it. It must abandon what once protected it. There's no partial release. It must fully let go. And this creates a period of extreme vulnerability because after shedding that shell, the lobster's body is soft. It has no protection. It's highly vulnerable to predators, and it must hide while rebuilding. This is the most dangerous phase, yet the only path to growth. And the symbolic takeaway here is that expansion requires temporary exposure and uncertainty. Through this discomfort, a new, larger, stronger shell forms. While the lobster has hidden, it grows. A new shell develops. The new shell hardens. Its capacity increases, and the lobster emerges larger than ever before. And guess what? This is a cyclic pattern that repeats throughout the entire lobster's lifetime. In the process here, the pattern, pressure, discomfort, release, let go, reorientation. Expansion is not a one-time event for the lobster, nor for you and I. It's a lifelong cycle. A lobster grows by becoming uncomfortable in its current shell. It retreats, lets go of what once protected it, survives a period of vulnerability, and emerges with greater capacity. Rinse and repeat. The shell that once protected you eventually becomes the shell that limits you. And expansion requires the courage to outgrow it. I want you just to really listen to that. So one of the rabbit holes I went down and just through a lens of curiosity as I was putting together my notes for this conversation. And I was looking at old journal entries of mine. I was using some Google to get some definitions of expansion through different lenses, quantum physics, spirituality, and just more general catch-all. And one of the themes that I really liked from some of these research points was that expansion is literally becoming more of what you truly are. It's the continual unfolding of your true nature, the process of releasing limitation, fear, and illusion so more of your authentic self can emerge. And I love this because I often tell my clients, what we're really doing is dehypnotizing you from the beliefs and the habits that make up your current identity that were all learned, don't really belong to you. So from a spiritual perspective, expansion isn't adding something new. It's removing what was never you. And if you've been a longtime listener of the show, you've heard me say this a million times. One of the superpowers that can serve as a catalyst for your own up-leveling process is curiosity. Why do you believe the things you believe? Why do you feel the way you feel in reaction to certain circumstances? Where did you learn that? Who did you learn that from? Get curious. Go down that rabbit hole of reflection, and you'll ultimately likely learn they're learned reactions, learned beliefs, learned behaviors, which means they can be unlearned, which is the crux of what I do with my clients. So we got expansion from a place of, we know the do more, the be more, go, 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 more, more, more. We've talked about it from the lens of literal release, unlearning and letting go. And I think that is a good segue to tie this all together with expansion, being able to see expansion as increased capacity. When you let go of beliefs, people, relationships, habits, feelings, emotions that don't serve you, you create space. And that space is the equivalent of capacity, energetic bandwidth to be able to hold more responsibility, more success, peace, truth, discomfort, love without contraction. So another way to think about expansion is its increased energetic capacity. And the reason I'm highlighting this is as you go through this expansion process, it further underscores the importance of continuing to take care of you, to protect and master and maintain your energy. And what I'm referring to is continuing to check all of your unique boxes under the umbrella of self-care, the sleep, the stress management, the nutrition, the exercise, all of your other stress management practices, meditation, visualization, silence, continued learning. You have to still do this during the expansion process, even when things feel hard, uncomfortable, and you're low energy, because that is what's still maintaining your energy bandwidth to have the ability to endure the cycle of expansion. Expansion is the process of increasing your capacity to hold more of life by releasing what no longer serves you, creating space for new possibility, and reorganizing your identity through discomfort and uncertainty. And the last word I want to highlight there in that sentence is the discomfort. Achieving your goal will be harder than you think and take longer than you think. Accepting that will make it an easier journey to endure. Look, expansion is literally the tearing down, the releasing, the unlearning of everything that makes up your current identity. You will feel vulnerable. You will feel uncomfortable. You will likely experience a roller coaster of emotions that you can't quite pinpoint as to why you feel them. Fear, anxiety, worry, uncertainty, anger, frustration, impatience. It's part of the process. Sit with it. For those of you listening right now who are going through it, who are pushing, and it feels like you're not making any progress, hang in there. This is part of the expansion, the up-leveling process. Hang in there. Discomfort is non-negotiable. And it's these particular periods of the expansion process where you find the most value. Though it won't feel like it, you'll find the most value in being vulnerable. So whether it's opening up to your significant other, your best friends, your tribe, a coach, a therapist, that validation, being seen, heard, understood, sometimes helps keep things together. Hang in there, though. The discomfort is necessary. The reframe here is that discomfort is the literal expansion. So hang in there. You can outlast temporary. So I fired off those reflection questions for you. I'm going to repeat them again. I'm going to leave you with a couple other nuggets. The questions I want you to really chew on and ponder. Number one, where has comfort become confinement? Number two, what are you afraid to release? What are you currently holding on to that you know you need to let go of, but you're resisting because it feels safe? Number three, where are you avoiding necessary discomfort? Number four, what does your next level self require you to release? So I want to leave you with a couple actions to take. I want you to begin identifying one shell you need to outgrow. Before this day ends, I want you to identify one facet of your life you will intentionally release to create space for expansion. Maybe it's a commitment, a belief, a habit, an identity, an avoidance behavior. And once you've made that decision, by the end of the day, tomorrow, you need to take one expansive action. It's one expansive action that your current identity would normally avoid. Sign up for the opportunity. Make the call. Have the conversation. Make that bold decision. Take that bold action. Today's goal was simple: to help you recognize the shell you've outgrown, release what no longer serves you, and take one action that expands your life. Expansion begins the moment you stop protecting who you were and start building who you're becoming. And I'll remind you of this. I've got 10 limited spots for the 90-day Golf Identity Upgrade Accelerator. You don't need more swing tips, a YouTube video, or any quick mental game trick. You don't need another pre-shot routine checklist to make playing to your potential a habit. You need an identity upgrade, because the truth is simple. Your current golf identity is producing your current scores. If you want dramatically different results, you must become a different golfer at the identity level. And that's exactly what this 90-day accelerator program is designed to do. So if you're ready to make playing to your potential a habit, I invite you to send me a DM on Instagram at @ThePaulSalter with the words identity upgrade. I'll send you the whole gamut of information, answer any questions you have. We'll see if it's a perfectly mutual fit. If you're a serious, committed golfer looking to dramatically drop your handicap, this is for you. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Thank you for being a loyal listener of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset podcast. I appreciate you. Do your friends, your network a favor. Share this podcast. Share whether it's this episode or the episode that most resonates with you. Share it. Get the messaging out there. This is the deep work, the deep, honest, raw types of conversations that lead to significant, lasting results. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on Thursday's episode.